Hi lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your support. If this is your first time, kindly help us by hitting on that red icon to subscribe. Also touch the notification bell to be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now today's class we shall be learning how to make a bubu cow kaftan gown, a V neckline using ashoke as the facing. Okay, so here I have my one strand of ashoke and knots up to one dough. I want to be making use of 15 inches for the length, and I've added extra 10 inches making it 25 inches. Okay, so this aside, now let's go down to the dress. The length of the dress I'm working with is 2 inches. So because of that, we'll not be using the length of Ankara. Remember, it's just 45 inches. So I'm folding it into two. Okay, let the two mouths meet each other. Okay, all right, so I folded it like this so I can be able to get the desired length. So I have here altogether 64 inches. I'll be using 2 inches for my folding, okay, for my hemming. So I'm going to be marking my 62 inches. Okay, so here is my 62 inches. I'm going to make a straight line here and have a notch that will guide me as the folding, the allowance I'll be using for the hemming. Okay, so from this side now, okay, fine. After this, I'll just notch this out, so you can use your iron to hold it and iron it out to guide you. Okay, I'll just notch it down. So we go down to taking our body measurements. Okay, here I have to take the neckline that I'm working with. I'll be working with the neckline of 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, and my shoulder. Um, The shoulder is 17 inches into 2 to give us 8.5. Okay, 8.5. I'm just marking this because I didn't measure the person across sleeve length, shoulder line, to know the length I'll be using for the sleeve. So I'll just mark my shoulder measurement to use it to get the sleeve that I want. So here I have 14 inches. I'm making use of all this, okay, because the dress that we are working on, it has a band. It has a band at the sleeve line. Okay, it has an elastic, sorry. So because of that, I'm making use of those 14 inches. So when I fold to put my elastic, I'll be having like 12 inches for the length of the sleeve. Okay, so here, because of that elastic, first of all, I'm going to mark my shoulder slope of 1.5 inches. So I'm going to connect this. I'm going to be connecting those 1.5 inches to this 3.5 inches. Alright, okay. So remember that the neckline we are working with is V neckline, but I will be coming down by 1.5 inches. Okay, I want it to serve as a guide, though the back will be this 1.5, but the front will not be 1.5. The front will be V neckline. Okay, so for the sleeve, I'll be coming down by 16 inches so that I'll get enough puff at the sleeve. You can even also extend it to 18 inches depending on what you want. Okay, so the half length I'm working with is 17 inches and the hip line is 26 inches. Okay, but looking at the picture, you see that the cow did not come exactly from the hip line. It's down a little bit. So because of that, I'll be adding extra inches of like 1 to 3. I'll be making it 30 inches. Okay, so I'll just make a straight line here. So from here, from this slope line, I came down by 18 inches. Sorry, I came down by 16 inches. 16 inches. Okay. So I'm going to come in by 2.5 inches. I'm going to come in by 2.5 inches. Then at this 30 inches, I'm going to mark my hip line measurement. And the hip line I'm working with is 52 inches divided by 4 to give us so the hip line 52 divided by 4 will be giving us 13 inches. I'm going to mark 13 inches at this place, and I'm going to add my ease. I'm going to be using 3 inches for the ease. Okay, so these three inches now that I mark here, I'm going to mark this all through to the down part. Okay, so from those 16 inches I came in by 2.5 inches. So from there I will just connect it to those 30 inches. I'll just make a curve, okay, like so. Just make it to join this um, hip line plus the allowance that I created here. Okay, all right. So I'll just go ahead now and cut this out. Okay, remember that this is where our sleeve, sorry, this is where the length end, which is 62. Okay, so here I'll come up by 15 inches for the slit. I'll come up by 15 inches from that 62 inches, which is here. So I'll go ahead now to cut this out, and I will notch here, which will serve me when I'm sewing that I'm going to stop my stitch at this point. Okay, so I'll go ahead now to cut this out. So I'm going to be folding here where my to form my elastic casing. Okay, where my elastic will be, and where at this point, so that when I drag it I will get my bow. Okay, so for the neckline I'm going to cut this out. Remember that I did 1.5 here, then at the neckline I did 3.5 inches. I'm going to cut here, and I'll take my hand inward small, like say 0.25, which I'll be using to join my shoulder line, both the back to the and the front. Okay, I'll use this now to join my shoulder. So I'm going to separate this now. This is the back, while this is the front. I'm going to separate this now to get our facing for the front. Okay, let me just cut out the facing for the back. Okay, just get the piece, fold into two, place it, then cut out the neckline. So I'll use this to turn my back neck line. Okay, initially I said that I cut out this. I have 25 inches here folded. Okay, why folded? I have 25 inches. So remember that what we are doing is to use it to form our V neckline as a facing for our dress. Okay, so now I'm going to open this up. Remember that what we minus here is 3.5. That means when we open it we have 7 inches. So I'm going to make this open. I'm going to widen it. I'm going to widen out to measure it to make sure that I have my 7 inches. Okay. All right. So I haven't done this now. I'll go ahead to use my pin to hold it down. So you can see we form our neck. So this I'll form my V neckline. So what I have to do now is to fold this into two like so. Okay. I'll fold this into two, and before then you have to make sure that you get the neckline how open you want your v-neck to be, how open you want the neckline to be. So the line I marked 10 inches. Okay, I marked 10 inches here. So this is how open I want it to be. So now I'll fold this into two. I'm going to put this and make sure that the open, that where will be open will be exactly at those 10 inches that I mark. So I'm going to adjust it to see that I have what I want. Okay. See, if I put it here, it will come down more. So I have to shift this, I have to adjust it to the desired length, to the desired opening that I want, which is here. Okay. So I'll go back. So I'll also adjust here. So I haven't done this now. I'll go ahead to cut this out. So I'll open this to the front piece to place this. Okay, remember I said I'm going to turn it at the front face to place this, but I want to use this ashoke to turn the neckline. So this is the back face. So I placed my V neckline, as you can see, like so. So I'm going to use my pin to hold this down so I can be able to cut out my excess. That is the essence of you adding extra allowance. Okay, like had it been I used that my 15, you will see that at the end of the day I won't be having up to that 15 for the length again. So I have to add extra allowance to it so that when you place it you will now cut out the excess that is remaining. Okay, so you can have enough for the facing. So I'm going to hold this down, then flip it over to cut out the excess that I have. Okay, so this is it. This is the excess that we have. So I have to go ahead now to trim this out. So I'll go to my machine now and I'm going to stitch here. I'm going to stitch this V neckline, then flip it over to the back, to the right face. Okay. Okay, so I'll sew this from the back side. So I'll go ahead now to notch it. I'm going to flip it to the front piece. So go ahead now to flip to the front. You just use your iron to iron it out. Okay. Just use your iron to iron it out. Then we'll go ahead to stitch this. Just run a straight stitch to hold it down. I'm going to stitch here, okay, so that this thing will not be opening. Then I'll stitch to this down parts like so. I'll stitch here and I'll stitch straight, and that's it all. Then for the back, I've used my facing to turn the neckline for the back. Okay, then flip to the wrong face. I sew it from the front, that flip to the wrong face. I'm going to hold this right face facing right face, after which after I have already stitched this down, then I'll fold the both shoulders. After that, I'll fold the mouth. Okay, I'll just form a case where my elastic will pass through. After, I must have fold this down, fold this the shoulders, then I'll fold it, then pass my elastic round to the both side. After that, I'll go ahead now to use 1 inch, okay, to shape it down. Then reaching to the down part where I notched for the 15 inches, where I'll be stopping my stitch. Okay, I notch it out, so I'll just stop here and weave it out, then fold it in using my hemming gun to hold it, then fold it down part. Okay, so for this, for the front part, before I join the back and the front, I want it to have a little bit of shape. Okay, so I'll be attaching this belt. Okay, I just cut out this 2 long strip. I just stitch it, then I'll be attaching it at the half length. Okay, just what you have to do, so simple. Just fold this into 2. When you fold into 2, you take back your half length measurement. When you take your half length measurement, then you mark where your half length is. Okay, like for instance, this I have 17 inches for my half length, so I'm going to measure my 17 inches, which is here. Then I'll fold this to get my midpoint. So this is my 17 inches here. The waist I'm working with is 42 inches divided by 4 to give us 10.5. So here I'm going to mark my 10.5. Please do not add extra to it. That 10.5 exactly is what I'm going to be marking here. So this that I mark here, I'll also mark it for the other side. Okay, then I will attach my belt. Okay, I'll stitch my belt to it so that you can tie it inside. This is at the back of the dress, so it's the belt will be tied at the back, but inside belt, not outside belt. So having done all this, now our clothes is set. Stay tuned till I show you the finishing parts of this dress. And please, if you have not subscribed, subscribe for more interesting videos.